everybody, welcome to Two Page Tuesday. This is the sketch I'm using this week, and it's from the 4x6 photo sketch blog. Again, it's by Zyra Yvette from February 26th of 2012. I'm going to be using 2 sheets of this background paper for my background, and this Viewmaster paper is from the Simple Stories Good Day Sunshine 12x12 paper pad. It's a couple of years old. That collection is a couple of years old, but two P's, I wish. A cherry on top had a sale on the paper pad about Black Friday. I'm going to be using that aqua floral paper as the third layer of paper, and that is from Simple Stories Summer Vibes. It's the hashtag selfie paper. And just to help myself keep track of which side was which, I rounded the corners right away so it was harder for me to mix it up. And I'm putting these 6 photos on. You're supposed to use 4x6 photos, but mine are really mostly about 5 3/4 by 4. They were taken with my phone, so they're not 4x6 completely. I decided that the paper there, blue paper, was a little bit wide because I have another layer to go. So I cut that down, and I think if I remember correctly, it's about 9 3/4. That's about the width of the height of the paper actually. And then I'll cut pieces of it from there. So I'm just trying to get an idea of how this is going to look. And I'm measuring it because now I'm going to cut the layer beneath that, and I want to make sure that I cut it properly. So again, I'm rounding corners so I can keep track of that. That red grid paper is also from Simple Stories Summer Vibes, and it's called Redwood/Grid. All right, so now I have that down, and I'm kind of liking the way it looks. And this is where kind of the hard part comes in. Last week when I did this, my background pages weren't exactly the same, and it was a little bit easier for me to figure out how big I wanted things to be, because not only do I have papers crossing the divide between the 2 pages, but I also have photos crossing the divide. The middle 2 photos there are going to cross it, so I kind of need to figure that out. But before I can decide for sure how I'm going to cut things, I need a card to journal on. And I'm kind of thinking about, I looked at kind of what it was going to look like because I was going to use a diagonal stripe for the piece that's going to go across the top. But I decide instead of using that ampersand, I'm going to use this heart card. It's a little bit more, well, there's a more journaling space on it. How about that? Because I had quite a bit to say about this event. So this is a group of friends and I, or a group of friends and me, and we went to a concert this summer that was a group called 4 Guys in Dinner Jackets, and they sang songs from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So that's where part of this title comes from. All right, so I cut the first piece, and I kind of measured things and then put little check marks on my paper there so that I knew where to put them. And I'm going to glue those 2 photos that are going across the middle to the page, because that way it'll help me figure out where I need to cut. And I am taking my Tim Holtz Vintage Photo Distress ink, and I'm inking the edges. That will help bring all of the photographs together so that all the papers together, so even though they're from 2 different collections, that they still work together. And the colors are similar enough that you don't realize how much, that they're much different, but they are a little bit different. The Summer Vibes paper, which there is all the colors in the Summer Vibes collection, is in that aqua paper because the centers of the flowers are there. They're definitely a little bit different, but not so much that you would really notice. And so by gluing those photos down, now I can kind of get an idea of how to glue all my photos here. This looks way more simple, but just so that you know, the whole process time was 71 minutes. The time to get the paper glued down with the journaling card, that piece of it took 41 or 42 minutes to do that. So this piece of it that I'm working on right now, which goes down to about 10 minutes in the video, is really a lot longer than it appears. All right, so now I'm getting the base layer, or not the base layer, but the second layer of paper down there, and I'm just kind of using the edge of the paper there to line it up. And I was going to erase the mark with my pencil and realized I need to do it with my gum eraser so I don't wreck my paper there. All right, so now I'm gluing down the photos in the middle, and in a little bit, when I get this all done, I'm going to realize a very big mistake, and maybe you have figured it out already. But when I glued the middle photos down, the photos that were cut apart, I actually flipped the two photos and don't discover it until much later when I'm all excited about being done and I'm really not done. One of the things I love about this sketch is that the corners of these papers are rounded. And you know, I used to do that all the time, but I rarely do it now. And it was just something nice and something different. I don't see that very often in my book. I forgot to ink this paper, so I'm coming back to do that. And just checking to make sure that I did ink the other one, which I did. So there is the other paper there. Before I forget to tell, and now I've discovered that I messed up the two photos there, so I'm re-gluing them down. Before I forget to tell you this, I am going to try to remember to link my Pinterest board with my sketches and layouts, my 2-page sketches and layouts. So you can go refer to that if you want to see this sketch or any other ones to give you some ideas. Now there is the paper that I'm going to use for kind of the top piece that's going to go underneath the photo, mostly the photos on the top there. And I'm just kind of measuring to figure that out. When I do a 2-page layout, I measure way more than I ever do. I'm kind of looking to decide, do I want the bottom or the top of that paper, and I end up going with the top. So I know that that is what I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it in half, because that will make it easy for me to figure out what to do. And so I go back and I use my Creative Memories trimmer there as well. The diagonal paper is also, by the way, is from the Good Day Sunshine 12 by 12 paper pad, as is that heart journaling card. That's from one of the cut apart sheets in the paper pad. And I realized that the journaling card was looking kind of funny to me. Well, it was because it was the only thing that wasn't rounded. Now the right side of that striped paper isn't going to be rounded, but it's going off the page, so that's okay. And what I'm doing is I'm just checking the measurement from the top of the paper so that I get the diagonal on the other side down properly. So this looks so easy. Fast forwarded. I fast forwarded 4.5 times to get it to make it look that easy, but it was a very painstaking process, which I think is part of the reason I don't do 2-page layouts. Although really, if it was 71 minutes, you know, that's way less than, it's about 35, 36 minutes a page, which isn't bad at all, really. So I have all the main elements down, and now I'm going through and I'm just checking and I'm gluing things down. So now I'm going to come back in, and this second section here is speeded up, but at a much slower pace than the other section was, so that you can see me starting to put the embellishments on. And I'm using that VW bug there, or little bust there, is a chipboard piece, and all the chipboard is going to be from the Simple Stories Summer Vibes chipboard stickers, and then I'm using die cuts also. So the cassette player and the camera that I just put on, and then this ticket that says admit one are all from the Simple Stories Summer Vibes Bits and Pieces, which is the die cuts. The little Pop Fizz bottle cap there is from the chipboard stickers, and then that soda bottle there, pop bottle, is from the die cut bits and pieces from Summer Vibes. So I'm using a lot of Summer Vibes pieces now because I don't have any embellishments from the Good Day Sunshine collection. They didn't sell those. It was just the paper pad. So I'm kind of going back and forth. I did switch the two bottle caps there, and that just felt right. It felt right to be using the little bottle caps because I think of the 70s influence, and that's part of the embellishments here are just to remind me of the night. I mean, they were doing songs from the 60s and the 70s, so that's appropriate for the camera and the VW bus and the cassette tape. But the other thing that was going on is they were having an antique car show here. So the VW bus being there, I think of that car show when I look at that. And Lisa E. Designs, who's on, that's her YouTube name, was just did a class not that long ago about making, when you do a layout, that the pieces on the layout should instantly take you back to the story. And that's what I'm really doing here with all of these pieces. So the chipboard stickers, I'm pretty sure they've got a backing on it that you can remove, but I could not get the backing off. I'm a massage therapist, for those of you that don't know that, and I don't really have long fingernails, so it's hard for me to take things off. That's why you'll see me use tweezers a lot to put small pieces on. All right, so now I'm getting ready. I've got the right clusters done. I need to do the left cluster, but I want to make sure that there's enough room for my title on here. The name of the group is 4 Guys in Dinner Jackets, so I'm going to call this 4 Guys and 5 Friends is going to be the layout, the title of the layout. So I use these Fitzgerald thickers from Chamel. They're they're in aqua, obviously. And as I was doing this, I decided the 4 felt really abrupt to me as just the number, and I really wanted to be able to spell it out. So I happened to have bought a second package of these before they went away, and I'm so glad. I love this font. It's really nice. It's big, but it's thin. So you can do really nice titles in this. And so that's what I decide to do. I decide that I'm not going to use the number here, that I'm actually going to spell out the word 4. And I just like the way that looks. Now I am not going to spell out the word 5. I probably could have, but I would have had room to do it. But I kind of liked the other part of the title, the subtitle piece, to be less, I don't know, a little bit smaller, not quite as weighty, I guess would be the way to describe that. And I was lucky I had all the letters I needed. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit better idea of how that cluster needs to go, or what I need to do with that. And I pull these mini letter stickers. They are from Simple Stories Snap Studio. They're the Snap stickers in typeset, and this is from the very first Snap Studio collection. So this is quite a few years old here. I start out at first using an ampersand for the word and eventually go back and decide to actually spell it out, just because it's going to, the way I have it now, it would have worked better to do it with the ampersand, but it's too long, so I want that to take up a little bit more room there, and that's why I go back and do that ampersand. I guess I could have left the ampersand and spelled out the word 5. I just didn't think about that when I was doing it, which probably would have been a little bit more cohesive, and it would have repeated the spelt out number, but whatever, it's fine. I'm probably the only person who's going to think of that. So these are really nice letters, and then they come with word stickers as well too, which you'll see me use in just a second. I don't remember if I said this, but if you were watching me use that corner rounder is from Creative Memories. I love that corner rounder. I didn't get it from them. My aunt had done a little bit of scrapbooking and then stopped and gave me some of her supplies, and she gave me that corner rounder. And I think it's the only Creative Memories piece I have in my collection. Now I used to have like a circle cutter or something that I didn't use. I don't cut my stuff in circles very often, and I think when I got my Cricut I stopped using that, and now I just, if I do anything in circles, I don't know, I either hand cut it or I use a punch. All right, so now I'm going to use some of the word stickers I figured I would get since I had an opportunity to use them, that I should. So this one right there says thank you so, and then I'm going to pull off the words perfect and great. And thank you so is because this is a group of friends. We have dinner together every so often, and one of the couples, or in my case singles, it does dinner at their house. Well, in this particular case, the couple who did it that night knew that this concert was going on at an art center near us, and it was a beautiful summer night, and they said, or it was a beautiful summer, and they said, well, why don't we do that? You know, how would everybody like to do this? Because we've heard about it. And it was really fun because we brought everybody brought a potluck picnic item, and we just had a really, really good time. And obviously we were drinking wine, as you can see in the top left photo there. It was also very crowded. That's why there's a lot of pictures of the crowd, because I just couldn't believe how many people were there. All right, so I am taking out my American Crafts journaling pen in brown. It's a .05, and I'm going to just journal about the event. And like I said, I had quite a bit to say, so I wanted to make sure I used a big journaling card. And this was a, let me think, it's a 4x6 card. And I just cut it down a little bit because I did cut a little bit off that bottom. I forgot to tell you that when I did it. And there's a little bit, I'm just going to finish journaling, and then when I do the still shot, after I shut the camera off, I found a couple more pieces. I forgot that I had a sticker sheet for this, and I just got buried under my paper, and I forgot to add stickers in, and there were a few clusters that didn't feel complete to me. So I'll just kind of walk you through. On the left side there, I put an Omit One sticker with a pink heart sticker in the far left cluster. And then in the bottom cluster, I put a surfboard and flowers in there. So hope you're all well. Have a great day and take care. And I'll be back with another layout soon. Bye.